Hari Om. Good morning to all of you on behalf of Vedanta Institute of Midwest. We are starting a new cycle of Bhagavad Gita classes. We will be meeting from 9:30 till 10:45 every Saturday morning for the next few years. In order to get the most out of this experience, I request all of you to please follow these guidelines. These lectures are happening both in person in Troy and online on Zoom. If you are attending in person, please make sure you are settled in your seat by 9:20 a.m. And if you are attending on Zoom, please log in no later than 9:20 a.m. Before class, there will be devotional music playing. Once you sign in, you can listen to this music to calm your mind before we start class. Please make sure to turn on your video and turn off your audio. I repeat, please make sure you turn on your video and turn off your audio. This is needed for the speaker to have effective engagement with the audience. Please review the Zoom class etiquettes, which have been emailed to you already. It is important to note that you will not be able to log in to class after 9:35 a.m. This is done to maintain punctuality and to avoid disturbing the speaker and other attendees. You will receive a reminder email the day before each class with a Zoom link. The same Zoom link will work for each class. Please do not share this link with others. The link is only meant for those who have registered for this study class. Classes are never canceled unless Amaji is traveling and doesn't have internet access, or during Swamiji or Sunandaji's annual events where we all would have the opportunity to participate. You would be informed well in advance of any cancellations or schedule changes. If you miss a particular lecture, you will have access to the recording. To request access to a recording, you can email studyclass@vedantamidwest.org. I repeat, you can send your request to studyclass@vedantamidwest.org. Please do not share any recordings with others.
So Hariam and good morning to all of you. Now the portion which we are doing right now is called Dhyana Slokas. Verses for contemplation. Dhyana means contemplation, Slokas means verses. So these are 9 verses. They briefly explain to us what is Bhagavad Gita all about. The purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita, why should we study? Because Bhagavad Gita is a long text, 18 chapters, 701 verses, so it's a long journey. So how many of us are willing to take this journey? Do we want to take this journey in the first place? So briefly, the Dhyana Slokas, they talk about what is this knowledge all about, the purpose of this knowledge in our life. And last week we covered verse number 1. So I'm going to recapture the main point from verse number 1. But those who missed the last lecture, that's what Sita was telling us. You can always send your request for the recording. So you can listen to the recording so that you're up to date with the class. So the thought flow is something like this. Verse number 1 talks about the book. You can also see it on the screen. Book is worshipped. Verse number 2, author is worshipped. Author is Vyasa. 3 and 4 talks about the Guru. Krishna is the Guru in Bhagavad Gita. 5, 6, and 7, they talk about 3 spiritual disciplines: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. Verse number 8 talks about effect of following these 3 spiritual disciplines. It purifies your personality. Bulk of the desires are gone. You become more objective, contemplative, and then you qualify for meditation, which is Dhyana. So therefore, verse number 9 talks about meditation, and meditation is the final spiritual practice which takes you to the ultimate experience of spiritual enlightenment, also called as self-realization. So this is the thought flow in these 9 verses. Now, what you need to understand, as you see the translation and when you listen to the chanting, these verses, each verse, they have 2 terms. There is devotional aspect and also there is intellectual aspect. Both are required. Why both are required? Because you need to have both if you want to progress spiritually. If only devotion minus buddhi, if you don't use your intellect, is of no use. Your growth will be lopsided. You'll be on the slippery ground. You may even end up becoming a religious fanatic. Only you approach scriptures only with the intellect, minus devotion, minus reverence, minus surrender. You will become a pandit, you will become a scholar. So the confluence of both is must in any spiritual growth. So therefore, each verse, there is a devotional angle and also there is intellectual explanation. Now, coming back to verse number 1, which we covered last week. So I'm going to recapture main points here. So first I'm going to read the translation. Om, O Mother Bhagavad Gita, by which Partha means Arjuna, a seeker, a spiritual seeker, by which Partha was enlightened by Lord Narayana himself. Krishna, Lord Narayana is Krishna, which was composed and placed in the middle of Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa, which showers the nectar of non-duality, which is glorious, which contains 18 chapters, which is an antidote to samsara, terrestrial entanglement. I constantly meditate upon Bhagavad Gita. Every day I study and reflect on Bhagavad Gita. So, like I explained last week, Om is a symbol of supreme reality. Per se, it has got no meaning. But it's a powerful reminder, it's a powerful idol which represents the ideal. Ideal is supreme reality, the ultimate state of spiritual enlightenment, which is our original nature. And our mission in life is to one day get back to that state of self-realization. Now, it's not because scriptures are saying that. It's not because these great masters, they're saying that it is your original nature. It is your original nature, and you want to get back to that state, and you won't rest content till you reach that state. It is according to you. Now, forget about what all these great masters they are saying. Somebody may say, fine. I mean, I respect them. This according to you. You won't rest content till you reach that state. Why? Because nothing in the world satisfies you. If you're honest to yourself, you have tried wealth, you have tried career, you have tried relationship, you have tried friendship, you have tried traveling, you have tried all sorts of indulgences, acquisitions, and enjoyment. Why nobody is content? This is the fact. Something is missing in everybody's life. Why something is missing? Because you are not reached your original state. And only when you reach your original state, you'll be all fulfilled. You'll be complete. So therefore, to reach that state is your ultimate mission in life. And that's what is represented by Om. So Om is just a reminder to all of us to get back to that state. Bhagavad Gita is compared to mother we discussed last week. It doesn't need any explanation. You talk to any mother, they will tell you rather than me telling you, why this comparison. By which Arjuna was enlightened by Lord Narayana himself. See, for devotional people, Lord Narayana himself is giving knowledge is enough, But we understand Lord Narayana is nothing but Krishna, enlightened master, one of the enlightened masters. Now, Arjuna is a seeker. See, the backdrop of Bhagavad Gita, we all know. Arjuna is like you and me, intelligent person, successful person, right? So we all are intelligent, we all are successful, doing well in our own way, in our day-to-day life. And by and large, we are fine. Hi, hello, how are you? Giving high five, this and that, when things are normal. But when we face challenges of life, personal challenges, not other person is going through the challenge was a big deal, When the challenge is personal, it could be at home, it could be at work, it could be in a community, it could be in a society. Good many of us would succumb to that challenge. Why we would succumb to that challenge? Because we have not bothered to find out what is life all about. How to live life is a technique. So how many of us have gone through that systematic study of how to face life? So that's what Bhagavad Gita, the scripture, is all about. So Arjuna was one such seeker. It's all symbolic. Arjuna represents you and I. So when the challenge became personal for Arjuna, it was a war, he faced a warlike situation. He represented righteousness and he was fighting the unrighteousness. So when he saw his own friends, his colleagues, his own guru in the enemy camp, due to whatever reasons they sided with unrighteousness. In fact, they represented unrighteousness. So Arjuna could not deal with that challenge. He could not face that challenge. And he laid down his bow and arrow. And he told Lord Krishna, who was his childhood friend, also he happened to be his charioteer in the battlefield. It's all symbolic. That, hey, I can't fight this war. Please help me, otherwise I'm going home. To such a person who was he was an emotional mess. His intellect was paralyzed. At physical level, he could not even lift his weapons. To such a person who was in a despondent state, Krishna gives Bhagavad Gita. And end of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, he says, yeah, all my confusion is gone. So his confusion was removed. He fought the battle. He won the battle. It's all symbolic. So the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita should help us to face challenges in our day-to-day life. That's what it means. Which showers the nectar of non-duality. He is introducing Bhagavad Gita to us. See, the pluralistic phenomena of dream, we all go through the dream experiences, right? It's a pluralistic phenomena. There are millions of objects and beings in a dream. Imagine this is a dream. So the no dreamer will understand that the pluralistic phenomena of dream is nothing but one waker's mind. Which dreamer will understand that? Impossible. But when the dreamer becomes the waker, what happens? Instantly understands that the erstwhile dream was nothing but one mind, one homogeneous mind. Now, you and I are experiencing a pluralistic world. There are birds chirping in the background. I don't know whether you can hear those who are attending online. I look different, you look different. All of us are distinct and different. There are millions and millions of objects and beings. But this entire pluralistic phenomena is nothing but divinity, truth, the self. I mean, how can we understand this? It's impossible. Just as no dreamer will understand that the pluralistic dream is nothing but homogeneous mind, one mind. So this is what these great masters, this is what Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures, they are telling us. So that's what it means, which showers the nectar of non-duality. So you and I are experiencing pluralistic phenomena where there is only oneness. That's the ultimate state. So those who have reached that state, they are experiencing that oneness, not you and me, definitely. Which is Bhagavati, glorious. Glorious means Bhagavati. So anything is called as glorious. Now, both Krishna and Gita, both are called as glorious. Now, why they are called as glorious? Because of 6 attributes. So what are the 6 attributes? Number 1, absolute might. So the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita gives that absolute might to you. I mean, might to you does not mean you become Arnold Schwarzenegger and start lifting weight. I don't know how you understand that. See, your true personality is yourself. You are that truth. You are that divinity. Right? You belong to that unconditioned state. And what has happened to you? You become that constricted, restricted, limited body, mind, and intellect. And begging at the doors of body, mind, and intellect for happiness. Oh, I want happiness. When you are that mighty person, everything you have everything. So as you get established in this knowledge, you understand your own worth in that sense. So in that sense, these 6 attributes or 6 qualities, you get established in them gradually. It's not that of course, he's talking about Bhagavad Gita, he's talking about Krishna. They represent these qualities. But how do you know that you are going in the right direction? You may be, I know some of you have been following this knowledge for a long time. It's not necessary that you have to attend these lectures. Whatever way you have been following spiritual path, how do you know you're on the right path? How do you know you're on the right track? To the extent you are getting established in these 6 qualities. So the first is called as Aishwarya. Aishwarya means absolute might. Dharma. Dharma means righteousness. So this knowledge gives you that capacity to be righteous in any facet of life. First of all, you know what is righteous, what is unrighteous. Yasha. Yasha means glory. Success with values. That is the easiest way to understand. You may have success, you may have productivity, but you may be the most corrupt person in the world, doing all hanky-panky things, and I'm very successful person. Who are you? I'm a mafia. Obviously, he is not talking about that. So there is success, but that success is backed by the higher values. So therefore, it is called as Yasha. Yasha means glory. Shri, beauty. Not Mr. Universe, not Miss Universe, the spiritual beauty. Dhyanam, knowledge. There is that clarity. You have clarity, you know how to navigate your life. You have that capacity, you have clarity to take right decisions, correct decisions in all facets of your life. How to guide your children. You know how to bring up your children. You have that clarity. Which career to choose. You have that clarity. What decisions to take in your profession. You have that clarity. How to invest your finances. You have that clarity. What is right for you. What is wrong for you. You have that clarity. So in that sense, Dhyanam. And also the knowledge of the ultimate. The knowledge of your true self. The truth. The divinity. And the last is Vairagya. Vairagya means non-attachment. So as you get established in this knowledge, or to the extent you get established in this knowledge, to that extent you're not attached to this world. You are in the world. You're dynamic. but you function in the spirit of renunciation. Extremely important. It's not that you have gone to northern Michigan or I don't know, upstate New York, and you're staying in the camp there. No, you're bristling with activity. You could be a mother, you could be a father, you could be a CEO, you could be the prime minister. You are doing your obligations, but in a spirit of renunciation, in a spirit of detachment. That is true spiritual life. No. Misunderstanding of religion is people believe that religious study has to be taken after you cross 65, 70. It is of no use. Religion is nothing but a knowledge of life and living. After living life, you want to know how to live life. I mean, does it have any meaning? So how to live life right from the age of 7, 8, 9, 10? You must be bristling with activity. You must be dynamic, right? You have to do your obligations to the best of your ability. But you must do your obligations in the spirit of detachment. Renunciation in action, not renunciation of action. Padma Patra Eva. This is how Bhagavad Gita describes. You function like a lotus leaf in water. Lotus leaf is born in water. It exists in water. It dies in water. But it has got nothing to do with water. Isn't it? Why? Every day I see lotus when I go for a walk, and ducks having a good time there. Tails down, tails up, right next to beautiful lotus. So what is the speciality of lotus? It's a comparison, it's a simile. Therefore, traditionally, we worship lotus also. What is so special about lotus?
It's a greasy surface where water cannot rest.
It has a greasy surface. So therefore, water can't wet. So similarly, you and I should function in the world. Dynamic, bristling with activity, no retirement till you die. You must die with your boots on. This is the message of Vedanta to the world. At the same time, you are not affected by the world. So in that sense, Vairagya. Now, why I'm giving so much of explanation right in the beginning, because this word is completely misunderstood. See, that's the reason no youngster will ever attend Bhagavad Gita classes. And Bhagavad Gita is meant for the youngsters. Now, please don't go away. You could be 90 and you could be absolutely young, more than young. You could be 15 and you could be 95. So it has got nothing to do with age. But from practical point of view, this knowledge is nothing but a knowledge of life and living. So what you learn, if you understand this word renunciation, you have understood Bhagavad Gita. Renunciation in action, not renunciation of action. That one preposition has been misunderstood, therefore hardly anybody comes to this study, which contains 18 chapters explained last week, which is an antidote to samsara, terrestrial entanglement, meaning it gives you that capacity to face challenges of life. You're not ruffled by challenges. That's what it means. And most of us are ruffled by challenges. Sometimes even a small challenge shakes us up. Temperature go right now in Michigan, I can talk about. Everybody is glorifying the weather. Wow, And this morning also I went for a walk. At least 5 people, they said, wow, what a day, 2 or 3 weeks down the line, the same person will be miserable. And those who are from Michigan, they will know what I am talking about. Most of the times it is cold. So slight fluctuation in the weather can affect you, the Almighty. I mean, it is ridiculous, So this knowledge gives you that capacity to relate to the world. challenges should not ruffle you. You have to override these challenges. But right now you are affected by these challenges because you are at a lower level, meaning you are at a level of ignorance. See, at a lower level, you are affected by the imperfections, isn't it? See, even on the road, we all talk about potholes, road is not good. You go 20 feet above, 50 feet above, I mean, how does it matter? But if you are flying 35, 40,000 feet in the air, you don't even feel. So you're having juice of water and maybe glass of water, it does not even shake. So therefore, you have to go to the spiritual heights by this knowledge, by fortifying your intellect. That's what it means. I constantly meditate upon thee. Meaning through daily study and reflection, you absorb this knowledge. Knowledge becomes wisdom, and when it turns into wisdom, you live this knowledge. You apply this knowledge in your day-to-day life. Otherwise, you just talk about it. Let's move on to verse number 2. Verse number 2, please.
नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः.
Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Salutation to you, O Vyasa. Vyasa is the author, the teacher here, whose intellect was vast, buddhi, crystal clear intellect, whose eyes were as large as petals of a full-blown lotus, who lit well the fine lamp of all knowledge, filled with the oil of Bharata. Now, this has to be explained. I mean, if you take it literally, I mean, what will you understand? That's the style of the scripture. This is poetry, in fact. So, why he's saying salutation to you, O Vyasa? See, all Indians, they will know, every year we celebrate Guru Purnima, which we celebrated last year. Now, it happens to be the sage Vyasa's birthday, but we are not paying homage only to sage Vyasa. It's only symbolic. So we are paying homage to the galaxy of masters. Now, in the past and in the future also, it will continue. Now, why we are doing that? Because this knowledge, which is called as Vedanta, Vedanta is a digest of knowledge of countless masters. There is no one master involved in Vedanta. You can't say it is Krishna. You can't say it is Lord Rama. You can't say it is Vyasa. I mean, nobody knows how many masters are there. So all the masters in the world, not only in India. So we pay homage to this galaxy of masters. We say thank you to you. Because of you, we got this gift, this knowledge. And India is considered a spiritual capital of the world because of the galaxy of saints and sages. He says Bharata. Bharat is like the actual name of India. So Bharat means one who revels in the light of consciousness. I mean, you don't need to have an Indian passport for that. I mean, you could be on the moon and you could revel in the light of consciousness, the truth, the divinity. It's all poetry, it's all symbolic. So we are paying homage to one such sage, Sage Vyasa, whose intellect was vast, meaning he had that absolute clarity. One who has reached the ultimate state of self-realization. See, if you compare dream state and waking state, no dreamer, however brilliant he may be, he will have clarity. He won't have clarity about the origin of the dream state. How did the sun came about? What is the origin of the dream state? The moment the dreamer becomes the waker, what happens? He understands the hollowness of the dream. So therefore, who has the ultimate clarity? No dreamer will have ultimate clarity. Only when the dreamer becomes the waker, he has that clarity. Now, you and I are caught up in these conditioned states. Last week, I discussed briefly. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. So these are conditioned states. So beyond these conditioned states is our original state, which is called as state of self-realization. So one who has reached that state, he has that ultimate clarity about what is life's mission, isn't it? So therefore, you have to study the scriptures. Are you getting the link? I think a couple of months back, we went through Bhajagovindam, one of the introductory books to Vedanta. Right in the first verse, it tells us, study the scriptures, study the scriptures, study the scriptures. Now, why should you study the scriptures? Because scriptures is given out by the masters who have reached the ultimate state of self-realization. So why you want to follow somebody who himself is confused and he is misguiding? Now, you follow any master, doesn't matter. You follow any scripture, it is one and the same thing. But for heaven's sake, follow scriptures. I repeat, you can follow any master, it doesn't make any difference. All of them are same. But you need to follow a master, a guru, who is teaching scriptures to you. If he is not teaching scriptures to you, what are you learning? Therefore, we find there is so much of confusion in the field of religion, isn't it? So therefore, to remove such confusion, you need somebody who has solved the mystery of the origin. And Vyasa is one such master, meaning scriptures. Follow scriptures, that's what it means. Whose eyes were as large as petals of a full-blown lotus, meaning he was an arresting personality. That's all it means. You feel uplifted in his or her presence. And why you feel uplifted in the presence of a true master? Because to the extent he has unfolded his self, self meaning the truth, the divinity. That is my nature, that is your nature, right? So to the extent I have unfolded the truth, to the extent I have unfolded my divinity, to that extent only I will be able to communicate this knowledge, not more. So if I have removed, let's say, 30% of my ignorance, so I will be able to communicate only 30% to you, not more than that. So the enlightened master, he has 100% is established in divinity. So therefore, he is able to communicate 100% truth. Now, you and I may not understand that. That depends on the receiver's capacity. My capacity is only 1%. And even if enlightened master is talking to me, I won't be able to relate to that. But he is talking about an enlightened master, a guru, right? A true guru. He has unfolded his self, meaning he is established 100% in the truth, and therefore he is able to convey that. Now, what is the practical implication of this? The focus has to be on study and absorption. This is for you and me. See, because you may get inspired. So I meet people who are inspired. No, I want to convey this knowledge to the world. I want to communicate this knowledge to the world. No, I want to help people. No, let's take it to the school. Let's take it to the university. Let's take it to heaven. Let's take it to the hell. Let's take it to everywhere. Yes, it should be taken to everywhere. Every human being should be exposed to this knowledge. But who is going to expose this knowledge? Who will listen to you first of all? See, if I'm just blabbering, I'm established in this knowledge. I mean, who can listen to me? 1 or 2 days you will come, but I can't fool you all the time. I mean, last 12 years, these lectures are going on. I mean, how long I can fool Radha? How long I can fool Smita? How long I can fool Kiran? Few days I can fool. See, I don't take it literally. So therefore, to communicate this knowledge, to uplift other people, you need to uplift yourself. Otherwise, you cannot. Forget about uplifting. You will bring them down, and this is what we find. In the name of religion, what are we doing to each other? See, intention may be good in good many cases, but the end result of that is, I hate you today, you hate me because of what? Let's be frank with each other. I mean, don't take it literally. I don't hate you or you don't hate me, but this is what is happening in the world. The world is divided into compartments and sects and whatnot. Because of what? The misunderstanding of religion, the total misunderstanding of religion. And some of these practitioners, they are well-meaning, but they have not understood the message. So therefore, they end up dividing the community. Unless and until I have that feeling of oneness, how can I pass on that feeling of oneness to you? So therefore, the message which you and I learn is, sit down. Don't get up and don't go and start preaching this knowledge to the world. You absorb this knowledge. Focus has to be on absorption. And to the extent you absorb this knowledge, to that extent, good will flow out of you. Wherever you go, at home, you will do good. In your workplace, you will do good. In your community, as a citizen, you will do good. So that's the message here. Who lit the fine lamp of all knowledge, filled with the oil of Bharata. See, this is poetry. I already warned you that what it means. Comparison is, this is a simile. Gita is compared to the light, wick, lamp. There's a lamp, you can say candle. So the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta, is compared to the wick, the light. It gives knowledge. Oil or fuel is the tradition and culture of India. So I'm going to explain what it means. It has got nothing to do with a particular nation. It's the concept. So Vedanta is the knowledge. Which culture has given this knowledge of Vedanta to the world? The geographical place. It happens to be India. I'm not saying it because I'm an Indian. It's a fact of life. The whole world accepts that, appreciates that. Now, why it is so, that's what we need to understand. Now, repeatedly, this is happening for thousands and thousands of years. Every 25, 30 or 34, 30, 40 years, there is a visitation of a great master. Why? Why it is happening? It's not happening that there's only one master. For thousands and thousands of years, every 30, 40 years, there is a master coming and giving out this great knowledge to us. So what culture, what value, what environment is producing that is this knowledge. Are you getting it? So therefore, the knowledge of Vedanta, the knowledge of Gita, why it is compared to the light? Because it gives us knowledge of how to live life. And when you apply this knowledge, you become successful and also you are peaceful. Number one, you develop capacity to face challenges of life. You know how to navigate your life. Therefore, Vedanta is compared to what? The light. And also this knowledge tells you your ultimate mission of life. Like a dreamer has only one mission, to wake up. So therefore, our only mission is what? To wake up to the state of self-realization. You and I do not know that. So therefore, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is educating us on that. You and I are in darkness. So therefore, the comparison is to the light. And the second part, culture and tradition the Indian culture and tradition has produced galaxy of great masters for thousands of years. So see, therefore I use the word Bharat. India was called as Bharat. Now Bharat means one who revels in this knowledge. That's what it means. A human being whose mission in life is to find out his identity. Now, this is applicable from individual level as well as collective level. Follow this very carefully. Your mission in life is to learn, absorb, and live these values. And to the extent you absorb this knowledge, to that extent, the effect will be what? Are you following what I'm trying to say? To the extent you absorb this knowledge, individually, forget about collectively, when you absorb this knowledge, right, there will be success with values. There will be peace. There will be harmony. There will be progress. There will be discipline. There will be upliftment. Your own upliftment, I'm talking about individually. Same thing is applicable collectively. If family follows these values, parents, forget about family. Family means parents. No, I want my children to follow this. No, you follow this. Children will automatically take to this. So a family which is established in this knowledge, that family will be uplifted. There will be peace, harmony. Children will come out beautifully. There's nothing wrong with children. If children are wrong, you know what is wrong. I don't want to get into the details. Now, absence of this knowledge will produce what? Either individually or at a collective level. Strife, struggle, stress, worry, anxiety, disharmony, conflict, confrontation, indulgence, licentiousness, degeneration. Are you getting it? So the whole thing is based on cause and effect. So that's what it means. Now, some of you may rightly say, and most of your Americans here attending, at least 60-70%. Now, what I got to do with Bharat and India and all that, it's all symbolic. Somebody lit lamp in India. I mean, why should I bother? That's not what it means. The Bharat means one who revels in this knowledge, a spiritual person who absorbs this knowledge, who tries to apply this knowledge in his or her day-to-day life. So when you do that, the effect of that will be, I explained to you just now. Now, forget about others, forget about the family, forget about the society, forget about what others are doing. You have no control on others, but definitely you have control on your own actions. So if all of us do it collectively, let's say this is a society is taken care of. Why worry about others? Why bother about others? So therefore, this knowledge has to be practiced by the leaders. Everybody is a leader. At home, being a parent, you're a leader, isn't it? So as a parent, it is your responsibility to learn this knowledge, to absorb this knowledge, live this knowledge. Automatically, you will pass it on to your children. And children will come out beautifully. So that's what it means. That's the meaning of this. Filled with the oil of Bharata. So wherever there is this knowledge, wherever these values are practiced, there will be peace, harmony, success, spiritual growth. And absence of this is opposite of this, already covered. Verse number 3, please. Please unmute everybody, and Vijay is going to play. Mute, yeah. Mute everybody.
प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः.
Translation, are we not going to see the translation?
Amaji, are you not seeing the translation now?
No. I'm seeing PowerPoint, first PowerPoint. Yeah, so this is what, so let's play it one more time, Vijay. Yeah.
प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः.
So the translation: salutation to Krishna, who holds a cane. Cane is stick. He was a cowherd boy, so he holds a cane in one hand and shows Jnana Mudra, the symbol of wisdom, with the other, who is Parijata, tree of fulfillment, to those who surrender to him, who has milked the nectar of Gita, Bhagavad Gita. See, the word Krishna means dark. That's the literal meaning of the word Krishna. Unknown. So what is dark? What is unknown to us? What we do not know is truth, the divinity. You and I know body, mind, and intellect. But what enlivens body, mind, intellect, or personality is Atman. Atman is Sanskrit word. English word is self. S-E-L-F. S in capital. You can use the word truth or divinity. So you know your body and its perceptions and actions. You know your feelings. You know your various thoughts. But you do not know Atman, the divinity, the self, which enlivens body, mind, and intellect, isn't it? None of us know that. So the word Krishna means Atman. You see, it has got nothing to do with Mr. Krishna. It's all symbolic. So self or Atman enlivens our body, mind, and intellect to function. Number one. With body, you perceive and you act. With mind, you feel emotions, various emotions. And with intellect, you think various thoughts. But body, mind, and intellect on its own cannot act. It's like electricity. Electricity per se is neutral. But without electricity, no electrical gadget can function, isn't it? But electricity has got nothing to do with the way electrical gadget functions. In a small bulb, the expression is small. In a powerful bulb, the expression is powerful. In a heater, it produces heat. In a cooler, it produces cold. But electricity is neither hot nor cold, nor it has a movement. So similarly, without God principle, without Atman, body, mind, intellect cannot function. Number one. But how you use your body, mind, intellect, the God principle has got nothing to do with that. Now, you may use body, mind, intellect either constructively or destructively, isn't it? The choice is given to you. So symbolically, he is showing, I'm going to explain it more. So he is just quiet. Atman is quiet. Krishna is quiet. He is just showing you your mission in life. Now you decide what you want to do. So either you can devolve, which is shown by Cain. I'm going to explain what it means. Or he's showing a Jnana Mudra. You want to destroy yourself, your choice. You want to evolve spiritually, you want to become a good human being, why not? Your choice. So the God principle is neutral. Without, I repeat, without God principle, nothing can happen, nothing can function, right? Body, mind, intellect cannot function in this in the first place. But how you are going to use your body, mind, intellect, God principle, truth, divinity, use any word, has got nothing to do with that. There's no point blaming God if something wrong is happening to you. You must try to correct yourself. So symbolically, it is shown by Cain. Now, why he is showing Cain? Now, Krishna was a cowherd boy. It's a story. Forget about the story. Now, what does a cowherd boy do? Where does he take them? It's a common saying. You say, I don't know. You know, I am born in America. Okay, American. Okay, cowboy, Wild West. You know, Colorado. Okay, that's a language you will understand. If somebody who's in Colorado, right? And when you're passing by, you can see thousands and thousands of cows. You go in the morning. What are they doing?
Grazing.
You come home in the evening. What are they doing?
Grazing.
All day long they are grazing. They come home, the cows come home, what do?
Just ruminate and graze.
Chewing gum, you know, the grass they're chewing. So the whole life they are busy eating grass. It's all symbolic, right? That they come home, they come to the stable or wherever they stay, they ruminate, they bring out that grass, whatever the scientific reason. So exactly same thing most people they are doing. So the cattle, they represent the senses. Eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. So the average person, he lives his life only for sensual indulgence. The scriptures, they are not saying don't contact the senses, but you can't live life just to indulge in the senses. So you should have self-control. But the average person lives his life just to acquire and just to enjoy. It's an animalistic tendency. So you end up becoming a materialistic and sensual person. You acquire more desires and you devolve. So that's what is represented. You acquired more self-centered desires, egocentric desires, and 9 out of 10 people, they live life just to indulge in the senses. That's all. This is a very definition of devolution. Your spiritual evolution is marked by the number of desires you have overcome or conquered. See, the ultimate theorem is what? Human being minus desires equals truth or divinity. So to the extent you add desires to your existing stock, to that extent you are devolving. To the extent you remove your desires, to that extent you are going closer to the divinity. So cattle is used symbolically, isn't it? I repeat, cattle, they represent our senses. And the average person, what is he doing? In summer especially, those who are from this part, Michigan, 3 months, 4 months, nobody's available here. I'm appealing to people. In person, I'm getting excited. After 3 years, lectures are happening in person. Where is everybody? I'm not saying they should not do that. Somebody is wine testing, somebody is testing, wine is testing him. I don't know what is happening. So the whole life you and I spend in indulging in senses. And scriptures, they're not saying you should not contact senses, but you can't live your life just to indulge in senses. Then on what basis you're a human being, right? So when you indiscriminately indulge in senses, this is what practically everybody is doing, you are cultivating more egocentric desires, self-centered desires, and you devolve. So you can use your body, mind, and intellect to indulge in the world, the gross, sensual, materialistic indulgences, or maybe to do some hanky-panky. So we're not getting into that, right? Break all man-made moral laws and go to a very base and gross level. So you can use the God principle in you for all these devolutionary activities. So that is represented by the Cain, or the same body, mind, intellect, the same Atman, you can use for spiritual evolution. So therefore, he shows that Jnana Mudra. It's all symbolic. Buddha also shows Jnana Mudra. So these three fingers, little finger, ring finger, and middle finger, am I correct? Yeah. So they represent body, mind, and intellect. And the index finger, also called as forefinger, right? This is index finger and this is thumb. So Jnana Mudra is you bend the forefinger or index finger, which represents ego and egocentric desire, and it touches the middle of the thumb. Thumb is the substratum of the palm. You take away thumb, you can't operate. So similarly, Atman is the substratum of our personality. Therefore, it is symbolized by thumb. So when you disassociate from body, mind, intellect, egocentric desires, and you touch the thumb, it forms a circle. Circle represents infinity. So you can use body, mind, and intellect to evolve spiritually. Do something good with you. To remove desires at action, emotion, and intellectual level. So you have that choice. You can put efforts to become a good human being, to become spiritual, to move towards self, to move towards divinity by removing your desires, or you can indulge in all types of indulgences and what? Devolve. You have that choice. I have that choice. So what Krishna is telling us?
You choose.
Hmm?
You choose.
You choose. Most of us are choosing, I better not tell what I'm choosing. You know, it is a secret. Now, you keep your secret, I keep my secret. You know? But then don't complain. I'm disturbed. You know, even when my cat sneezes, I catch cold. I mean, this is what is going to happen to you. I mean, cat has got nothing to do with it. You know, the COVID has got nothing to do with it. You know, COVID. I mean, what? I mean, everybody is sick and tired. Yes, you take precaution, but why are you dying every day? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? This is a price to pay. Worry and anxiety and stress and insecurity and whatnot. Or you can be calm and composed and dynamic and cheerful. And that is Krishna's life. I mean, throughout his life, he was cheerful. Good many people, when you meet them, you feel either they are going to the funeral or they're coming from the funeral straight. As if, straight, I mean, straight from the crematorium they have come. They did not deviate, straight from the crematorium. Hi, hello, they are saying. Why? Why are you living that life? Because you're following Cain. So don't follow Cain, follow Jnana Mudra. It's all symbolic. Who is Parijata tree? Who is Parijata? Parijata meaning the tree of fulfillment to those who surrender to him. Now, Parijata is a mythological tree, Parijata. And when you stand under that tree, whatever you wish for, your wish comes true. I want promotion. There's a Parijata tree there. You want promotion? Raji, she's already promoted. So I'm just giving you example. There's a Parijata tree in the backyard. Next day she goes, appointment letter. You have been promoted. That's what Veera did. And I told him, why unnecessarily? He was never worried. Go stand under the Parijata tree. He stood under Parijata tree. He was promoted. And come on, I mean, you and I know it's not going to happen. See, this is where people, they become superstitious. It's all symbolic. So what it means is, Vijay from Texas, can you show us the Parijata tree? Now, it's a pyramid of desires. Follow it very carefully. The top of the pyramid, the apex of the pyramid, it represents the state of self-realization. The state of self-realization is a state of desirelessness, which also means a state of wholeness. completeness, infinite peace, infinite bliss. Now, that is your original state. Now, whether you know it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you understand it or not, that is my original state, that is your original state. But what you and I are experiencing is the void, a sense of incompleteness. There is a lacuna in life. See, it's a question of more or less. See, we're not criticizing anybody here, including ourselves. Otherwise, we end up becoming cynical. We are trying to analyze what is happening to us. So the average person, everybody, when I say average person, why there is a void? Why there is a void? Because you are operating at the bottom of the pyramid. You can see on the screen, in the bottom of the pyramid. Next time we should have it on the projection there. So where you have maximum desires, you are inundated with desires. Not only you are inundated with ego and egocentric desires, these desires are of very poor quality, inferior quality. Maximum you can think of is yourself, my family, and my grandchild. Beyond that, it's like the world does not exist for you, right? So this is very definition of self-centeredness. So you don't identify beyond that tiny little circle of yours. I for myself, you for yourself. So since you have maximum desires, you are loaded with desires, your desires can never be fulfilled. A self-centered person, how can his desires be fulfilled? World cannot cater to your desires are endless. So therefore you always remain in a state of mental agitations. It's a question of more or less. Desires could be at a physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, one and the same thing. But if you go to the next level, you start working for a higher ideal. There's nothing different you have to do. Wife should never have that attitude. What can I get out of my husband? Will he give me Cartier? Will he give me this? No such nonsense, no such question. Wife does her duties. Same thing husband does. You don't want anything from your husband. Wife doesn't want anything from husband. Husband doesn't want anything from wife. You only relate to that person to do your duties. What a life. So wife lives her life with the attitude of service and sacrifice. Same thing husband does. Are you with me? Same attitude you have towards your children. Same attitude children have towards the parents. All the self-centered desires will vanish gradually. So when you get established, therefore I'm showing that pyramid to you. So when you are established in the higher values, even relatively speaking, your lower values, they gradually go away. So to that extent, that void is reduced. To that extent, you feel that sense of completeness in the relationship I am talking about, as opposed to, what is happening. As a wife, I claim my rights, woman's rights. Man says, what about man's rights? So man is starting his own life. Man is also claiming his rights, and both are destroying each other. Therefore, 70% or close to 70% divorce rates, right? There will be strife, there will be struggle. So as a family unit, you don't want anything from each other. Your life should be based on duties, never on rights. So when you do that, all your self-centered desires will go away. In that sense, you become paripurna. Same thing in your own profession. Why you want anything? Will I get money? I mean, it's fine. Everything will happen. You have to work for a higher ideal. Don't ask what my profession can give me. What can I give to my profession? Don't ask what my nation can do for me. Don't ask what America can do for you, what you can do for America. Any nation, doesn't matter. And the famous words of JFK. So if you identify with nation, see, your self-centered desires are gone. And incidentally, you'll be fulfilled. Because where are such people? Everybody around you is self-centered. If I'm the employer, I mean, which employee I will promote? The employee which identifies with the company. Where are such employees? Hardly any. This is what I keep telling all the youngsters, and some of them are applying that in day-to-day life and incidentally doing very well. Now you apply this formula. Now, if your focus is on the highest, the goal of self-realization, which is beyond body, mind, and intellect, you don't want anything else. You want the transcendental. So you're not bothered about any terrestrial desires. So therefore, you are free from that pressure of desires at all levels of your personality. So in that sense, he's saying he's Parijata, tree of fulfillment, to those who surrender to that ultimate goal, him meaning to ultimate goal. So from practical point of view, you need to find out where are you. If that void is too much, that feeling of insecurity, worry and strife, what is going to happen to me? What is going to happen to me? It's okay. There is nothing wrong in accepting. With the help of that pyramid of desires, you know what you need to do. With this knowledge, you need, first of all, you need to absorb this knowledge. You need to absorb these higher values. And you need to get established in these higher values. I mean, gradually, it can't happen one fine day. Start at the family level. No more rights, only duties. What a life it will be. Instantly, you will be a peaceful person. Try it out. Even if you try it out superficially, you will experience the difference. And once you get a taste of it, you will be more enthused to apply these values in a day-to-day life. So as you get established in the higher values, or to the extent you get established in the higher values, to that extent, the lower values, they fall away. And who has milked the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Now, Gita is compared to a milk. Why Bhagavad Gita, meaning the knowledge of Vedanta, is compared to the milk? Because milk is a universal food, isn't it? Everybody likes milk. Everybody is benefited by the milk, right from the young to the old person, from healthy, from athletes, everybody gets the benefit of the milk. So milk is the universal food. So similarly, knowledge of Vedanta, these are universal truths, eternal truths. It has got nothing to do with any personality. It has got nothing to do with any particular religion. In fact, Vedanta is the basis of all the religions. Christianity is founded on Vedanta. Islam is founded on Vedanta. Buddhism is founded on Vedanta, meaning eternal truths. Vedanta is nothing but an Indian name. The English translation is eternal truths. So any religion stands on eternal truths. So therefore, a truly religious person is truly religious. So-called religious person, he divides, he demarcates. He becomes his own enemy, and he becomes the enemy of the worst enemy of the world. Why? Because hardly anybody bothers to go to the knowledge. As far as knowledge is concerned, eternal truths are concerned, there is no difference between any religion. So all these great masters, whether it is Christ, whether it is Krishna, whether it is Prophet Muhammad, all of them were enlightened masters. So they spoke Vedanta, they spoke eternal truths. And since the followers did not pick up the message, the knowledge, there is so much of confusion. They are hanging on to the rituals. As far as rituals are concerned, there are differences. Again, ritual, they symbolize same knowledge. It's all symbolic. But there are different rituals. As an Indian, I perform different rituals. If you're a Christian, you may perform different rituals. Why not? That's the way it should be. But what that ritual symbolizes, nobody knows. And what that ritual symbolizes is nothing but the basic tenets of this knowledge. So rituals are perhaps necessary for spiritual initiates. It's a kindergarten of spirituality. Then something they do, it takes care of their devotion, and some basic knowledge is given. But you cannot hold on to these rituals. How long you can remain in kindergarten? I mean, you have to go to the middle school, you have to go to the high school, you have to go to the whatever, university. So come back Vedanta is nothing but universal knowledge. So therefore it is compared to what? To milk. Salutations to Krishna, who holds cane in one hand and shows Jnana Mudra with the other, who is Parijata, tree of fulfillment. Excuse me. To those who surrender to him, who has milked the nectar of Gita. So let's conclude with this verse for today. Verse number 4, the next verse also talks about the Guru. Both these verses, verse number 3 and 4, it talks about Guru. Then 5, 6, 7, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So I will catch you when you are fresh, and see, enough announcements have been made at the beginning of the lecture, but for what it is worth, I'm repeating one or two announcements. That if you miss these lectures and if you would like to listen to the recordings, you can send the email. And initially, all of you will receive the recordings anyway. That's what the coordinators they are doing, Vijay, Radha, they are working on that. So you can maintain the continuity of these lectures. But if due to whatever reasons you miss a particular lecture, you do not receive the link, feel free to email it to us, send an email, and coordinators, they will send the recordings to you. So I will see you next week.
Hari Om, Amiji.